It's Blog Lounge Entertainment, and the time is right with T-Pre.
I'm actually on a break, so I'm not going to be very long, but I see that people are trying to um, take this proposal, quote unquote, and make that like as if that made her honest and real. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the proposal that was sent to me by Breaking the Culture of Silence, okay, in regards to a shout into the void. We're going to go over that, and then we're going to go and we're going to compare what we actually did with a shout into the void to what this document says. Okay, so let me go ahead and share that with you guys real quick. Bear with me just a moment. Now we're going to go over this little podcast deal that Breaking the Culture actually did show to me, and I want you guys to see what she came up with. And this was after we talked physically about this. Okay. So keep in mind, this is after having a conversation with her, after, exchanging my number, having a conversation with her. And then she came up with this idea after we talked. And you guys will see that that is the case. This is not her coming just to me with just this information and she came up with everything and that was it. No, we had a conversation. We decided what subjects we were going to talk about. And then we put this all on paper and she sent it to me. Okay. But she actually introduced me to this situation. It wasn't, all this other stuff. Literally, she approached me, as I showed you guys in the email, and she brought this on as the proposal. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys what it says. YouTube is now opening up the platform, up the platform for podcasts. They are also paying content creators to curate a show and current podcasts to bring their show to YouTube. Same concept as having a content creator monetized channel. I believe it is worth doing a podcast on YouTube because if you upload a podcast to YouTube, you can more than double the size of your show's digital footprint. It will give you exposure on a platform that billions of people browse every day. How do you make money on podcasts? Direct and indirect monetization, sponsorships and ads, syndicate show to YouTube, sell mastermind slots, etc., etc. How production and curating the show would need to operate to be successful. We would have to have a panel of two with a guest host, with a few guest hosts, 2 to 3 shows per week on a set schedule. This builds consistency and helps create a steady audience. We would need to meet a minimum of 2 times per week at 1 hour at minimum. We would need to plan content and shows, work on Instagram and podcast apps, as well as YouTube platform. Projection date of project is second week of May at earliest. Between 4/17 and 5/7, we would need to have 2 shows set up, content created, and set dates for airing on multiple platforms. We would do an 80-20 split. You and I each get 40%, guest 20%. Monthly, we do need to put in for marketing, etc. Things to do before the show date. Create and sign contract, non-compete and NDA. Create release for guests. Create a calendar. Create Instagram, YouTube, podcasts. Interview and select guests. Come up with 10 subjects or topics. Set up branding, marketing, plan, and execution. Need to record trailer for show as well as pilot. Photo shoot. I'll set this up. Topics. And we had these topics right here, which was the child murders that I've been talking about. Hillsong documentary, Peter Nygaard case, the Nexium cult, and some icebreakers from Reddit. And then she went to a blog, which I'm going to show you guys now, which is that link here, the Riverside FM blog, How to Start a Podcast on YouTube. And this is the actual blog, okay? So pretty much everything that was on this list here is also on this list on this podcasting, Okay. So this is not something she came up with on her own. This is not, something she just decided. She just kind of cut and paste an idea from this and put this on here and discussed these things with me prior to putting this on here. So when I took on this idea, okay, I took on the idea of thinking that all of these things would be in place. We talked specifically about who she said would be sponsoring this fucking show, okay? From Life Jennings to Just So Funny, Just Hilarious, to you name them. These people were supposed to be sponsoring the show, okay? So she added all of this stuff in here, just basically writing down what we would be doing and what we were supposed to be doing and how these things were supposed to be taking place. None of this stuff happened. The only thing that happened, guys, okay, literally, was the Instagram was already there. I created the YouTube page, and she created the Anchor. So she put everything on Anchor so that everything could be uploaded from Anchor to the podcast. Okay. We had both selected interviews and selected guests, which, by the way, we never interviewed any of these people together. We came up with several topics, which, by the way, none of you guys ever heard us talk about any of these things, okay, on any of the podcasts, the 3 shows that we actually did record. And finally, we had to record a trailer as well as a pilot, which we were supposed to do with Shakim in New York, which is why we were expecting production. We were expecting makeup. We were expecting hair. We were expecting everything that she said we were going to receive. Okay. We never got any of this stuff, even though her and I had a fly-by-night photo shoot, if you want to call it, at her house. Okay. But none of the other stuff that was supposed to be included was included. This is the parts that she's leaving out. Okay. That Shakim and I are filling in for you guys. So I wanted you to understand that her showing you this piece of paperwork is irrelevant to what she produced to us and what she asked us to become a part of. Okay. Because literally nothing that she put in here, she actually did. Nothing that she put in here, she actually lived up to. For instance, the meet 2 times per week at 1 hour at minimum, that wasn't happening. The projected date of the 2nd week of May being the earliest for all of this. The only thing that happened by then was the photo shoot, okay? We would do an 80-20 split. We would get 40%, the guests would get 20. You and I get 40 and the guest gets 20. And monthly we do marketing. That never happened. Well, of course, we never started making any money. She said that we would have to have a panel of 2 with a few guest hosts. We did set that up with Shakim. She said that there would be 2 to 3 shows per week on a set schedule. We could not pin her down to set up a schedule. That was the problem. She's the one talking about how this builds consistency and helps to create a steady audience. So again, if I didn't know what I was talking about and I didn't know what I was doing, then I would not be giving you pushback on what you are not doing in order for this podcast to get off the ground. So what part of this breaking the culture do you not understand that you did regarding this podcast that you brought to us that you did not fulfill? That is the only thing we're saying about you. We're not saying that you scammed us and that you did this because we don't know, because technically I didn't have any money that I lost. I didn't say you did anything necessarily wrong to me. I'm just saying this is what you presented to us, and this is not what you gave us. And that is not our fault that you don't follow through with directions. You don't follow through with projects. You were the one that was supposed to do all this, and you didn't. And that is not anybody's fault but your own. So again, I'm not sure why you keep trying to blame me and Shakim Ra for this situation, why you're trying to make us responsible for this. But I'm going to need you to take responsibility for your part in this situation. You gave us this information. You asked us to be a part of this with you, and you did not fulfill your end, period. I'm not sure what part of this you want broken down further. I'm not sure what part of this doesn't make sense to you, but that does not make you look like you are honest, ma'am. That makes you look like you gave us a proposal for something that you claimed you wanted to do, and you did not fulfill any of it. The only thing that we got out of it was being doxxed. Literally. I got doxxed, Shakim got doxxed. That is the only thing we got from this. We believed you based off of what you presented. We believed you based off of how well together it looked and appeared. So I'm glad you showed that, because now everybody else can see. This is why we fell for it. This is why we believed it. But you never fulfilled any of that. And you can't blame us for why you didn't fulfill it, because we are not responsible for whatever you felt Let Me See Your Transcript was doing, or Daryl Moore was doing, or what I know AAS was doing. We're not responsible for that. Like you tried to turn it and twist it and say we came to New York and we were drunk and we were fucked up and we were tore up, and we showed the video proving otherwise. So today I presented who actually introduced who to who. Who actually introduced what to who. And you can't lie anymore. You can't make up shit anymore. You could try to tell the Deacon Youngs and all these people who already just don't like T-Pre what you want to tell them. But at the end of the motherfucking day, a shout into the void was your idea. You brought the idea to us. We believed you based off of what you presented. And you did not fulfill your duties. And that's just that. I don't know what else you want me to say. I don't know how you want me to make you feel better about that. And nobody had to know that until you decided to come out here jumping out the window, lying about what really happened with a shout into the void. Because this is what really happened. So I'm waiting to see your next receipt, non-receipt. But until then, honey, I have no idea what part of this you don't understand. You are literally the only one that is completely responsible for why a shout into the void did not go through. And that's just that. Shout out to Wally World. You said to fish for information from whoever would want to be involved. And that's exactly what it looks like, considering the fact that the only thing that we got out of this deal was being doxxed. That is the only thing we got. Everything you said you were going to send, everything you said you were going to do, you never did it. Everything you were supposed to go and get involved with, you were supposed to pull this person, that person, you were supposed to get this and get that, you never did it. And you can't turn around and say, oh, well, it was because of the way they were behaving, because it wasn't. You can't prove that. That didn't happen. It was you. And again, take responsibility for you. That's all you got to do. Don't sit up here and keep trying to blame me, keep trying to blame Shakim, because it was you. And that's just that. Now, take the time to look through what you presented to us. Go ahead and compare what you've done to what you presented. And tell me who's the fucking liar. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace, y'all.